AI agents are everywhere right now. Most explanations make them sound more complicated than they are. An AI agent works toward a goal through a series of steps. It can follow a process and use approved tools. It can check its work and return a result. By the end, you will understand exactly what that means. You will also see a practical first agent example. Imagine asking an ordinary chatbot to research a topic. You type a question and the chatbot gives you an answer. That answer might be useful, but the interaction usually stops there. You may still need sources, comparisons, organization, and a finished brief, so you keep giving the chatbot more instructions. It responds to each request, then waits for you again. Now imagine giving an agent one goal. Create a short research brief about 3 tools I am considering. The agent can turn that goal into a small workflow. It gathers information from approved sources. It organizes the findings using your preferred format. It compares the 3 options. It checks whether the required sections are complete. Then it returns the finished brief for your review. The difference is not that the agent sounds smarter. It works through a process toward a result. Most useful agents follow a simple loop. First, understand the goal. Second, choose the next allowed step. Third, use an approved tool when needed. Fourth, check what happened. Then continue stop or ask for help. Finally, report the result. Remember, this is understand, act, check, and report. That loop turns one request into a repeatable workflow. An agent needs more than an AI model. It needs a clear goal and a definition of success. It needs instructions and context for the work. It needs approved tools such as search files or a calendar. It needs memory only when remembering improves the task. It also needs clear boundaries. Those boundaries define what it can and cannot do. Together, these parts make the agent useful. Without them, you usually have a chatbot with a complicated label. Tools let an agent interact with the world around it. A research agent might use web search and a document template. A daily briefing agent might read a calendar and selected news sources. A job search agent might update a private tracker, but access should always match the job. A research agent does not need permission to send email. It does not need permission to delete files. Extra access does not make an agent better. It only increases the damage one mistake could cause. Agents are useful, but they are not magic. An agent can misunderstand instructions. It can receive incomplete information. It can use the wrong tool or produce an incorrect result. That is why important actions need safety boundaries. Start with low-risk tasks. Use test data before connecting private information. Let the agent draft before it sends. Require approval before money, deletion, publication, access, or production changes. A good agent knows when to continue and when to stop. Your first agent should solve one small, repeated problem. Do not build an assistant that manages your entire life. Start with a task you can explain in one sentence. For example, create a weekly brief from 5 approved sources. Define the input and the allowed sources. Define the output format and the success check. Then add approval before the final result is shared. This is small enough to test. It is also useful enough to teach you the pattern. Before calling any system an agent, ask 5 questions. What goal is it working toward? What steps can it choose? What tools is it allowed to use? How does it check the result? Where must it stop and ask for approval? Clear answers usually reveal an agent workflow. If it only waits for questions, it is probably a chatbot. That is not bad. It is simply a different kind of tool. An AI agent works toward a goal through a controlled process. It takes an allowed step, checks what happened, and reports the result. The best first agent is not the most powerful one. It is the smallest, useful agent you can test safely. Next, we will compare agents, chatbots, assistants, and ordinary automations. Join the Automate with Agents community through the link below. It guides you from basic concepts to your first working agent. If you are finding this content useful, please subscribe, like, and comment. Start small, keep the person in control, and build from there.